Picture this. A whopping £1.5 billion in government-backed support promised as a lifeline for Jaguar Land Rover (JLR) during its darkest hour. Yet the company hasn't dipped into a single pound. This shocking revelation has left suppliers fuming, accusing ministers of claiming credit for propping up the supply chain after a devastating cyber-attack paralyzed the UK's largest automotive employer. But here's where it gets controversial. Did the government truly step in to save the day? Or was this just clever spin to look heroic? Let's dive deeper into this unfolding drama, breaking down the facts step by step to make sense of it all. Even if you're new to the world of business bailouts and cyber crises. JLR, a titan in the car industry with factories across the UK, was hit hard by hackers who infiltrated its critical computer systems. This forced the shutdown of all its wholly owned plants starting September 1, 2025, lasting more than a month and throwing the entire sector into turmoil. For context, a cyber attack like this isn't just a glitch. It's like someone cutting the power to a massive factory, halting production lines and leaving thousands without work. You can read more about the initial hack and its cybersecurity implications in this detailed report. https://www.thegardien.com/business/2025/sep/20/jaguar-land-rover-hack-factories-cybersecurity-JLR. Amid the chaos, the government announced a £1.5 billion loan facility guaranteed by UK Export Finance (UKEF), a body that helps businesses borrow money. In simple terms, this guarantee meant the government would cover up to 80% of the loan if JLR couldn't pay it back, essentially backing the automaker's borrowing power. But hold on. This move was flagged as unusually risky, even by UKEF's own chief executive, who warned the business secretary that it exceeded their standard comfort zone with risk. You can check the letter here. https://assets.publishing.surface.gov.uk/media/68F5FF2E1C9076042263F089/SOS-UK026.09_letter.pdf. The announcement came just before the Labour Party conference at the end of September, with Business Secretary Peter Kyle declaring it was designed to stabilize JLR's finances and, crucially, support its network of suppliers battered by the shutdown. The official government statement emphasized bolstering JLR's cash reserves to aid the supply chain. See the full announcement at https://www.gov.uk/government/news/government-backs-jaguar-land-rover-with-1.5 billion-loan-guarantee. And in his conference speech a couple of days later, Kyle proudly highlighted the huge amount of money to assist this vital company, as detailed in the Labour Party's coverage. https://labor.org.uk/business-secretary-peter-kyle-at-labor-party-conference-2025. Fast forward to now, and here's the kicker. JLR hasn't accessed any of that guaranteed loan. According to sources, the automaker only finalized the loan agreement earlier this month, with banks like HSBC, Mitsubishi UFJ Group, and NatWest lined up as lenders. Instead of relying on this government-backed safety net, JLR tapped into its own substantial cash reserves to fund a program paying suppliers up front for parts. This initiative helped inject money into the supply chain after a month of zero orders, preventing an even deeper crisis. Suppliers, however, are livid, with one executive from a parts manufacturer bluntly stating, "In some ways the government played a blinder with everyone thinking they bailed out JLR. They did nothing." And this is the part most people miss. The loan guarantee might have given JLR a slight edge by reducing the risk of breaching other bank covenants, but it appears to have done little to directly aid suppliers, as explored in this Guardian analysis. https://www.thegardien.com/business/2025/ox/01/jaguar-land-false-hopes-decisive-action. For beginners, think of bank covenants as rules in a loan agreement. Breaking them could mean penalties or even forcing the company to repay everything early. So, while the guarantee provided some financial reassurance, it wasn't the cash infusion many expected. The shutdown unleashed widespread havoc on the UK automotive industry, which was already struggling with sluggish demand. Suppliers resorted to laying off thousands of workers to cut costs, and JLR's proactive payment scheme was a ray of hope, allowing production to resume in limited form by early October. Full production levels are now targeted for early December, steering clear of the nightmare scenario of lingering disruptions into the new year. Yet even with this progress, the Confederation of British Metalforming (CBM), representing many JLR suppliers, insists that more financial aid for parts makers is urgently needed, as reported here. https://www.theguardian.com/business/2025/oct/016/jaguar-land-rover-suppliers-ask-to-put-up-home-as-loan-security-after-. To illustrate, most suppliers operate on 60-day payment terms, meaning if they ship parts in September, they might not get paid until November. With the attack wiping out orders since September 1st, the financial crunch is hitting hardest now, 2 months in, as invoices come due without new sales to offset them. Liam Byrne, the Labour MP chairing Parliament's Business Select Committee, has stepped in to demand answers. In a letter to Kyle on Friday, he sought confirmation on whether any funds have flowed to JLR or its suppliers, and if the automaker even requested the aid. Byrne, representing a Birmingham area with many JLR employees, also pressed for details on government monitoring of support trickling down to lower-tier suppliers, the smaller companies that provide components to the bigger ones. He questioned why a loan guarantee was chosen as the best tool to bolster the supply chain, rather than more direct interventions. Suppliers are voicing mixed sentiments. Some have seen relief from JLR's own efforts, but concerns persist about delays in payments filtering through the multi-layered supply chain. Tier 1 suppliers, those directly linked to JLR, have generally received funds, but they must pass them along to lower tiers, which can slow the process. Stephen Morley, CBM's president, noted that while some parts makers have gotten much-needed cash flow, others deeper in the chain are bracing for the tightest squeeze yet. From September 1st, no matter when you get paid, there's no sales to invoice, he explained. Depending on your payment terms, come November 1st the majority of invoices would have been due. This is a critical pinch point as there is nothing to invoice. That said, Morley acknowledged the recovery is progressing better than feared, praising JLR for its efforts so far but stressing there's still work ahead. This situation raises eyebrows about accountability and communication. Was the government's emphasis on the loan guarantee a genuine attempt to help, or an exercise in political theater to showcase quick action? Critics argue it created false hopes, diverting attention from where real support was needed. On the flip side, supporters might say it provided stability that eased JLR's path back to normalcy. Either way, it's a reminder of how government interventions can sometimes prioritize perception over tangible results. What do you think? Should ministers be held responsible for taking credit when the aid wasn't actually used? Is a loan guarantee an effective way to support industries in crisis? Or does it just mask underlying issues? And crucially, how should we ensure aid reaches everyone in the supply chain? Share your views in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take, whether you agree with the supplier's frustration or see a different angle to this story. The Department for Business and Trade was contacted for comment.